Well, hello. How are y'all doing today? We're going to be talking about a foundation today, which is my favorite, as you already know. Now, I have talked about this foundation a lot. I used it in, what video was it? When I used only makeup from my kit. And I talked about it a little bit there, but I always get questions about what I think the best foundation for mature skin is that is dry, that's going to last all day, but also look great. And I always respond with this. So I thought I need to make a separate foundation video review on this. And it's the Atelier Ultra Foundation. This is one of the very first foundations that I ever stocked in my kit. I was trained in school on RCMA, but I purchased some of this while I was still in school, and I believe all of my portfolio pictures for my finals were using this foundation. It is absolutely glorious. I'm going to quickly tell you the claims before we get into the demo. Now, this is the Ultra Pro foundation that I have, which means it comes in a smaller plastic tube. If you buy the full size, it comes in a larger 1 ounce glass bottle, which retails for $55. I would have to get on to see how much the pros are, but these are basically, I mean, almost half the size. It's 0.68 fluid ounces, and it's in plastic bottles, smaller, better for professional kits. So this is what I always get. This foundation comes in 14 shades, but one of the amazing things about Face Atelier is they offer 5 adjuster shades, which I feel like if you stock this in a pro kit, it is imperative to have the adjuster shades. They are 0 minus, which is a white adjuster, obviously meant to lighten. 0 plus, which is a adjuster complex brown contour with yellow and red undertones. So it's like a warm adjuster. 0 plus plus, which is a blue black undertone. It's almost black. Which is a mango red, orange red undertone. And Blaze, which is a yellow olive to rich skin tones. So even though it's 14 shades, if you have any or all of those adjusters, depending on whether you're getting it for yourself, if you can't find a shade that works that well, or if you are stocking this in a kit, the adjusters will make all of those 14 shades work for every skin tone. I love that. So this foundation is highly pigmented, long-lasting, innovative foundation that provides buildable coverage with a natural-looking, youthful, dewy finish. No primer needed. It's built into Ultra Foundation thanks to the super sophisticated silicone-based formula. It sets without powder, preserving the dewy finish, and has soft focus properties that diminish the look of fine lines and wrinkles. Sheer enough for young women, yet can meet the needs of anyone that requires more coverage. It's an outstanding performer on mature, troubled, or sensitive skin. I cannot agree more with that. Due to its unique blend of silicones in the formulation, Ultra Foundation forms a delicate, lightweight, and flexible second skin with a natural breathing ability. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, if you have super oily skin, I am not going to recommend this foundation for you. If my client has super oily skin, I do not use this foundation on them. This to me is more for it's for normo skin types. For normal to dry to possibly combo skins. When it says no primer is needed, it means no primer is needed. That does not mean that you can't use one. For instance, if you have super large pores and you want to kind of fill those in, it's not going to mess up the foundation over it. So I don't want you to think that, because that's not the case at all. But I find that this works best, oh my goodness, I cannot get on this camera anymore without screwing up my words. I find that it works best straight over a moisturizer or straight over an SPF. So let's go ahead and get into the demo. I'm going to be using the shade 6, which is called Honey, and it's warm, light to medium olive complexion, sandy yellow undertone. So that's how they describe shade 6. I have nothing on my face in the form of primer. All I have is color corrector under my eyes. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I mean, I'm almost out of this color, so I think that's 2 pumps. More like a pump and a half, but you can see the consistency in the shade. I like this foundation best with a brush. It's a thin consistency. I'm not saying I've never used it with a sponge before, and I may go over it with a sponge, but I prefer the initial application with a brush. So I'm just going to stipple this on. When I have a client like a mother of the bride or a grandmother of the bride sit down in my chair, I always reach for this foundation. I don't always only use this foundation. Sometimes I mix it. In fact, my favorite foundation to mix it with is NARS Sheer Glow. That combination is oh so good. It's pretty much a guarantee that this is going to be on every mother of the bride or grandmother of the bride in some form or fashion. And I'm not saying I don't use it on bridesmaids or even brides. It depends on their skin type and the look that they're going for. I'm just saying this is a staple in my kit for the moms and grandmas. So this is this side of the face with the foundation, and this is the side without. So this is always the side that tends to have a little bit more redness, so we'll see how it covers that. It covered my redness nice on this side. I do not consider this a full coverage foundation by any means. I think it is a nice medium coverage. I don't think you're gonna get a super full coverage. That is not to say if you need a full coverage foundation that you can't wear this. Do what I always say and go in with a concealer and conceal the areas that you need after this so that you can get that natural skin-like look for the majority of your face. Again, I am matching my chest, which you can't see, and my arms. So this is going to be a little bit darker than the skin on my face. Okay, so you can see how well and how fast that covered my redness. It's not getting streaky with the brush at all. In fact, it stipples on very well. I'm trying to think where else you can buy this foundation. QVC used to have it. I think they might still. I will look everywhere and link all of the places that I find down below. But I will say that shopping from faceatelier.com has its privileges in the fact that they sell samples for $1. So you can get, if you don't know what your shade's going to be, you could get all 14 shades. I mean, obviously you wouldn't do that. You know your range, but you could buy 4 or 5 shades for $5. And that way you're not going to end up buying a whole foundation that may or may not work for you. So that is a huge plus in shopping with Face Atelier. That is what I first did when I wasn't sure what colors that I wanted to stock in my kit. I bought all 14 of the samples and chose from there. So I still have a little bit left on my hand, and this is the finished look of the foundation. So it is a more dewy, luminous finish. Another reason why I don't think oily skin is going to like it, but it is a very pretty finish. So this is the skin up close. It's not accentuating any pores. It just looks very pretty. Now, the claim that it does not need to be set. I know a lot of makeup artists, especially that do red carpet, say they don't use powder. I don't do red carpet. I do brides. Brides that get ready and need their makeup to last for 16 hours. I use powder pretty much always. Now, if I'm not doing a bride, if it's a certain situation, maybe not, but the majority of the time when I'm doing bridal party or brides, I will always set with a powder. I have never tried this foundation not being set. I've never tried it on myself not being set. So I'm going to use a powder today when I come back to show you the finished look, now that you have a good idea of what it looks like on fresh skin all by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up my makeup and I'll be right back. Okay, so makeup is complete. I use the Well People powder over this because I feel like that's one of the ones that will absolutely not mess with the finish of a foundation, with the color of a foundation. Like, your foundation is not going to look any different when you use that powder. And I honestly don't know what else I could say that I haven't already said. I mean, I came into the video telling you how much I love this foundation. It was really just so you could see a demo of it. I could tell you a little bit about it, who I think it's good for, who I think it isn't. Now, if you do have more mature dry skin, I think this is a definite one you want to try. Again, if you have super oily skin, probably wouldn't go for it. If you have combo skin, you can use like an oily skin primer underneath this, but only in the areas where you're the most oily. And if you have like normal to combo to dry skin, just use the foundation. Like, it is so pretty. Lasts all day. I've never had any complaints about foundation wearing off. I've never had it wear off on myself as well. It's just a gorgeous foundation. It's a gorgeous mixing foundation. If you have one that's like a little too matte, but you want something to give it a little bit more luminosity, maybe thin it out a little bit. I mean, there's just so many ways that this foundation can be used. I love the adjuster colors they have. I love how intentional Face Atelier is about making products that work. I mean, that's just what they do. They make products that work. So hopefully I answered all your questions. If I didn't, as always, leave them down in the comment section and I will get to them. I know this was a little bit of a shorter foundation review, but it was really just me wanting to show you how amazing this foundation is. If you've tried it, let us know about your experience down in the comment section. This is a foundation, y'all, so not everybody's gonna like it. I'm just telling you my experience with it on myself and my clients, and it truly cannot be beat. It is something that will forever, as long as I am painting faces, this will be in my kit in some form or fashion. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos, because I am working on my top 5 favorite foundations updated, because it's almost been a year since I've done that, and I will have that up next week. So be sure to stay tuned for that as well. I hope you're all staying sane and happy and safe, and that most of all, you go out and have a very blessed day.